So we're doing a New Year's manicure today, and I was not sure if I should do these two, which is Endearment and Cupid's Arrow, but this is not as visible, and this one in a thin coat is actually a little transparent. So this is the Stargazer. So I think we're gonna do these two. So my mom hasn't had a manicure in a long time. So we're gonna do the OPI repair mode, and I had quite a few people ask me if I'm going to do a review on this product, and I think I will eventually. I just wanted to use it for a while before, like, you know, jumping to conclusions. You know, none of these products, none of these treatments are a miracle. I think you can achieve generally much more with, I mean, the most important thing is proper care. And then on top of proper care, gentle care, treatments might help, but they will not replace gentle care. And they're not going to fix or repair damage. So these treatments, normally, I like to kind of call it that they help the damage to grow out and with supporting the nail, but it's not like they're going to really rebuild the nail. So the most important thing is to stop damaging the nails if you want to have nice nails. A lot of people, it's very, very common for people to over buff their nails. Any buffing is not good, because as the nail is growing, the nail is dead. It's being produced in this area, in the matrix area, but once it's out of the skin fold, or once it passes the skin fold, it's dead. So you can't nourish, first of all, and you can't really, the nail cannot repair itself, so it cannot heal. People like to use the word heal because they hope that they can heal their nails, but you can't. You can condition the nails, you can improve the appearance, but once the nail is damaged, it's damaged. Again, that's why it's so important to not damage the nails. So I'm using this soft touch file, and I really like them, and my clients like them because I give them the file after I'm done, and they like to sometimes shape their nails in between, or they have a little snag or something, they can use them, or a little bit of hard skin. I showed them how to do it. Like, let's say if there's just some hard skin, just very gentle buff, and it helps for the skin to just feel a little bit better. But again, care is the most important. So by the way, I have a link. I've put together a kit with soft touch. I've been using these files for years and years and years. And they have a kit of my favorite files on their website. So if you want to check it out, then check it out. And the reason why I like these files is because, like, as you can see, they are very thin and they're quite sturdy. So you can fit them nicely around the corners, and they give you good control when you're filing. When I'm not sure if the shape is good, I look at the nails this way. By the way, so my mom's nails are stained a little bit from just cooking, and that stain eventually comes off, you know. And I have quite a few people ask me if I recommend anything that bleaches the nails, anything that I guess helps to remove stains. And you know what? There are things, but they damage the nail. So even hydrogen peroxide, all these things, they're not the best idea because they just damage the nail. So you're gonna have maybe a whiter nail, but damaged nail. So I don't think it's a good idea. So the stains eventually will fade. Just washing your hands, maybe using a soft brush, something like this. After washing, eventually the skin, because it's usually around in the cuticle area where the stain is. So I suggest sometimes using gloves. I guess it's not always possible, especially when you're using spices like curry, things like that. Those spices, they really stain the nails. I had one of the viewers ask me, she was quite concerned because her nails were going yellow and she thought it was from the oil that she was using. And then I asked her if she was using any spices, and she's like, yeah, I've been using curry. So it was from the curry, not from the oil. So yeah, the buffing causes usually the most damage, and the reason why we use a buffer is to help the polish to stick better. That's the only reason. I mean, I understand that some people buff their nails to be smooth, but that really removes a lot of nail, because when the nails are rigid, they don't have more nail in that area. You're not growing more nail along the ridges. It's just that the nail is not very smooth. It's almost like a wrinkle. You know, when you have a wrinkle, you don't have more skin in that area. You just have, the skin is folded, and it's the same, well, similar thing with the nail. The nail is folded. So unfortunately with age, we not only get wrinkles, but we also get wrinkles on our fingers, but it is what it is. And there's not really a lot you can do to improve the ridges, but you can care for the nails, because what happens is those nails that are rigid like that, they tend to get damaged more. So when they are more damaged, it's just much more visible. It's almost like with dry skin, sorry, with mature skin. When the skin is dry, it just looks even that much more. So having the skin moisturized properly and cared for, it just makes it look better, right? So it's very similar with the nails. When they are dry, they just look that much worse or that much more ridgy. I find you have to be very gentle around the thumbs, and I don't know why that is. When you are nudging back that skin, because sometimes when people are doing this when they're putting too much pressure, trying to push that skin back, they're pressing down and they're creating a lot of trauma to the nail, and then the inflammation happens. And then when there's inflammation there, the nail, is not being formed properly, and it becomes wavy. And that can also happen from when people are picking their skin like this. That constant rubbing can also cause that. Okay, so I'm going to use electric file to do this step. But obviously when you are doing this at home and you're doing your own nails, you absolutely do not need electric file. I don't recommend electric files for people that are not specifically trained with them. And honestly, you don't need it. I actually don't even use electric file myself, because I do maintain my nails very well, and there's no need. So when you're using the carousel, for example, which is a very gentle exfoliant as well. It helps with the cuticle removal. The cuticle removal becomes very, very easy. So this is what I'm doing. Removing the cuticle from the nail plate. And I like doing this dry before nail polish application, because normally I would do the manicure like for myself. Let's say if I was doing my own manicure, then I would do that with Blue Cross, the cuticle remover. And then I would just give my nails, I don't know, an hour to dry. And because you want all the moisture to evaporate from the nail plate. The polish stays a little bit better that way. Although I have to say, for myself, I don't care, because if something chips, I can always fix it. But for clients, I always want the best results possible. So the best results possible are achieved when the nail plate is not saturated with water. That's the thing. So, you know, what you're doing at home is always a little bit different from what I'm doing at the salon. So I show people what I do because some people are just curious, some people like watching. I like watching my own videos, honestly, of me working, not looking at myself, because that's kind of traumatic sometimes. But doing manicures, my clients' manicures, I like watching those videos. But yeah, you don't need to do that. You can just do your own weekly manicures, because clients usually, well, I don't think I have one client that comes in weekly. Usually it's like every 2 weeks or 3, or sometimes once in a blue moon. And if you're curious, because I have sometimes these comments, people asking, oh my god, there is so much dry skin, like why are you leaving the dry skin behind? This is not a manicure. I have a short video explaining why I do this, and I'm going to put the link to that video in the description box and probably in the comment section, because it's a very, very important video. And let me know if that makes sense to you, how I explain it. By the way, another interesting thing that you might not know about. So for my mom here, I would suggest using a hardener a little bit, and I would suggest using the Mavala Scientific Plus, the one that has dimethylurea, which is a very gentle hardener. But if you need a hardener when your nails are soft, bendy, but not damaged, you see, these nails are not damaged whatsoever. They're healthy. It's just they are bendy. It's actually important to use it only on the nails that are too flexible. So in my mom's case, and it's actually quite common, that these 4 sometimes might need hardening, but not the thumbs. So don't think that you just have to use it on all the nails somehow, or it's some kind of a treatment. It's not. These hardeners just harden the nails. So you don't want to over harden the nail plate, because then it becomes very brittle. It can become too brittle, and then it will shatter. And that's not a good thing, obviously. So it's important to also, once the nail improves, to slow down the application. So let's say if you've been using it twice a week, then start using it once a week, and then eventually like once every 2 weeks, just so you don't over harden your nails, because trust me, it's not going to be good. And then there's no way of softening them either. So once they are over hardened, they are going to be too hard until they grow out. And sometimes when the nails are too hard, that can actually cause onycholysis, so separation from the nail bed. So not a good thing. And what I'm doing here, and I explained that in that very important video, but what I'm doing here, I'm not trying to remove dry skin. I'm just exfoliating the skin just a little bit so it just looks a little bit smoother, but I'm not trying to remove it because that's not how we fix dry skin. A little bit of exfoliation is okay, but I'm not trying to overdo it, because if you overdo it, you're gonna create more problems. It's a very temporary improvement then, because yes, you are removing the top layer of your skin, but the bottom layer then is gonna get dry, so it's never ending then, and you haven't addressed the cause. Okay. So I'm just smoothing the cuticle area, because sometimes there are little catches and the polish just kind of doesn't go on very well, but I'm trying not to buff the nail. So then when people come in for a manicure, it's like, you know, every 2 weeks, then I only do the regrowth, you know what I mean? Because when you are buffing the whole nail, this nail gets buffed way too much. And then people complain of peeling nails, breaking nails, because the top layer of the nail is gone. Think of the top layer of the nail as a bark on a tree. So if you remove the bark, the tree is much more susceptible to damage, right? To, yeah, even water damage. All right, so now that's done, I'm going to use prep to scrub the nail. Always get into the corners. You know, when you have sometimes some lifting, and you can sometimes see that with Dazzle Dry, I don't know why that is. Make sure that you kind of get into the little sides, and the free edge also needs to be clean. And make sure that the prep is dry and before you apply the base coat. So I always repeat it, that the base coat needs to be completely clear. So I had it in hot water, just sitting up to here, because you don't want to be submersing the whole neck of the bottle, because the water can get in then and mess up the polish. And you know what, I try to be as precise as possible when I pull out the polish, and sometimes see these little pieces get in there, and then the base coat does not close properly, and then the air gets in. So once I'm done, I'm gonna clean the neck. And I find you almost have to, with Dazzle Dry, with this particular base coat, you almost have to like chisel it off, or like just pick it off, because the remover doesn't really remove it, or the acetone doesn't. It's difficult to remove it. But make sure when you pick up the polish that you don't scrape the neck of the bottle with the brush. Because then sometimes the polish gets in the inside there as well. And then even though you clean the threads here, the threads inside the brush are here, these ones are very dirty, and you don't get a good seal when you close the bottle. Fluffy. So the base coat dries very quickly. So this is dry, it's matte. It's interesting because sometimes my clients don't really pay attention to what I'm doing. And they're like, oh, when they see me polish the nails, like, oh, you don't need a base coat. I'm like, no, I have applied the base coat. They look very confused because the base coat looks matte. But no, there is base coat there. And I know that Dazzle Dry recommends 2 layers of base coat, but I don't know. Sometimes maybe when the nails are super damaged or something, I've compared it and I don't really feel that it makes a big difference. It dries a little bit slower. There is a more risk of you going over the base coat with wet base coat with a polish, which can destroy the polish. They call it contaminate, but it's not like it's going to be radioactive or anything like that. It's just that it just messes up the formula of the polish. But you want to make sure that the base coat is dry. It's not shiny anymore. So we'll see how the one coat looks. If I need 2, then I'll do 2. Because Dazzle Dry dries so quickly that it's not a big deal to use 3 coats of color. You can. It dries very quickly. You know, when it's cold or when people come in with cold hands, the polish takes a little bit longer to dry. So I actually have, not right now, but I do that in the winter often, where I put a heating pad underneath this towel. So it's just that gentle heat helps to warm up the hands, and it helps the polish to dry a little bit better. And it's just a very nice touch for the clients. Yes, I'm gonna do 2 coats because it looks okay like this, but then when you move your hands down, it just looks a little bit uneven. And sometimes with the second coat, I can also make that the shape of the polish a little bit better. By the way, I made a video on how I clean up the nail polish, and it was a piece from one of the manicures that I did for a client. So if you want to check it out, I'll link the video as well. So basically the video shows how I shape that nail polish, but in case I flood the skin, I remove it right away. So let's say if I flood it, I just take the little stick and then I just clean it up, and then later on I go back with the acrylic brush. So the video only shows me fixing the shape, like perfecting the shape, and not really cleaning up, because I try obviously polish as well as I can, because sometimes certain colors are very difficult to clean up. So especially some reds or blues, like a dark blue colors. So I try not to obviously flood the skin. So without any further drying, this is dry already because it's matte. So don't be afraid that if you see that Dazzle Dry is matte, the polish is matte, because it's normal. Once you put the top coat over it, it's going to be shiny. When it gets matte like that, at least you know that it's dry. Oh, look at that. This is like, oh my goodness, it's like the champagne that David was talking about. One of our viewers, David. So David, if you're watching this, it's your manicure. It's kind of champagne look. Wow, it's so nice. He did it with SC, I think. Some of the SC colors. So pretty. So I'm using a thin coat of this gold. And any type of like shimmery polishes, they actually are very good for nails that have some texture. I'm gonna use that. Have texture. They're not ridgy, but they have texture. It just, I don't know, it hides the imperfections sometimes. I had a client just today, and she she was wearing shellac, and she also has nails that have some texture, and she chose the grapefruit sparkle. It's a fantastic color. It has a bit of a pinkish base, has a very nice shimmer. Looked absolutely gorgeous. There's 2 coats of that. Trying to see if you guys can no, it doesn't look as good, but in real life this looks very, very good. This light is very bright, so it just does not film sometimes that well. I can see the colors very well like in real life, but on camera they're sometimes a little bit different. So that's why you see me when I'm done, I turn off this light and then I just leave the light above me, like a regular light. Okay, so you see I flooded the skin a little bit here. So I'm going to just clean it up a little bit, because that way you will be able to see how the polish looks in real life. And you know what? Capping, free edge, or not capping. The opinions are very divided. I personally don't feel that there's a difference. And the reason why I started capping is because I got so many questions from the viewers asking why I'm not capping. So I started capping, but I don't really feel that it makes difference, especially with short nails, I'll be honest. And most of my clients have short nails. By the way, the gold shimmer does not have any texture. It's completely smooth. So it's not like a glittery polish that's going to drive you crazy. Actually, I love this manicure, how it turned out. And you know what? Short nails are beautiful too. Like this looks so good. The shape turned out so nice. Okay, I'm gonna let them dry for 5 minutes and we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to use this oil that I received. I think I bought it. I thought I received it from Orly, but I think I bought it. So I'm gonna use it. It kind of has a nice smell. I don't know what that smell is, but I like it. It smells very rich. If you guys know what that smell is, let me know. So this is perfectly dry and it's like 5 minutes. And this. I like using this one in the winter because it's a little bit richer, and then I have the light butter for the summer. My next client is here already. So that's it. Champagne manicure. Gorgeous.